southern Mexico, and that's where it's at today, is there. So that's pretty fun. We built we built the machine, but we also went down and built a couple of the buildings too. So, any other questions about anything? Yes.
Have you guys ever built a suborbital rocket?
Yeah, I didn't talk about it enough. We did it every year. That one that I talked about this year that had the scissors moving the camera, that was suborbital. Now, you're talking about the rocket itself.
The rocket itself.
Sorry. The rockets that we've been riding on are $2 million NASA rockets that we can't afford to get a free ride on. We had one senior design project year where we competed with Boise State. We may do that again soon after COVID. And we built, about 6 foot tall rockets with, I forgot the size, but it requires a license with those motors. They're big enough motors that they require a license. They go to about 20,000 feet. And we launched them from Swan Falls Dam down by the Snake River. There's a launch site down there, actually, where the Rocket Club does their thing down in the desert. So we had a competition with BSU. That was a tough year. I would say both teams felt like they failed. Neither team's parachutes deployed properly. So both rockets came screaming back down to the desert floor. Ours embedded, it was 6 feet tall. And it had a little robot inside, a little rover. It was supposed to come out when it landed softly with a parachute and come down a little ramp and come out and pop its solar panels open just like it was on Mars or something. So that was all inside the rocket. And it hit so hard coming down from 20,000 feet that that entire 6 foot rocket embedded itself into the desert floor, and there was nothing sticking out of the ground. And it's a miracle that we ever found it, but we just had so many people combing. We could see it coming down. We knew about where it was, but it literally just went into the ground. And so we dug it out with shovels and recovered I don't think it was even a foot tall when it was done. It was an instantaneous collapse, and there were just tiny shreds of electronics and mechanical pieces that were supposed to be a rover and the parachute system. It was just shredded, just amazing amount of force. So we have practiced rocketry, and BSU has too, but not necessarily always successfully. Any other questions?
Did your search and rescue drone ever get
To do a real search and rescue?
Yeah.
No, we haven't. We still have it ready to do that if called upon. It has a FLIR camera on it for infrared sensing of a human in distress. And it has a payload. It can carry like a kilogram, like a water bottle and a satellite cell phone or something like that, and deliver it right to the injured person, even if they were on a cliff. It has LiDAR on the top of the drone to try to avoid cliffs or trees as it comes down, trying to land in a tight spot autonomously with LiDAR. So it's not perfected yet either, but it's a great concept. We'll probably do it again.
Does the Civil Air Patrol know about that?
I think they do. There's a few products now that are out that are better than ours, and they're quite expensive, but I think that there's already things out there using drones that are better than what we did. But yeah, we wanted to deliver an emergency kit to a person, or to find them, first of all. So part of this was navigation, all these different algorithms for search patterns, right? Spiral, different kinds of search patterns were all programmed in. Yeah. Any other questions? I forgot to pass the baby Yoda socks around. These just came back from space last month, we launched Baby Yoda socks. I'm not sure why we did that, but do you want to hold on to the space socks? We launched Baby Yoda socks into space and got them back after a half an hour in space. This is a little project, another senior project. We're working with Micron where we built an electronics package fully contained to fit inside a football helmet. And this has an accelerometer that measures up to 200 Gs in all directions and is basically able to wirelessly communicate with a field sideline receiver and tell the sports medicine team, did we just experience a concussion? Did the G's in my head when I hit, did I just experience a concussion? Do I need to be pulled off the field? So this is a wireless G meter for football helmets. You're welcome to open it up and slide it out. I'm still going to take questions, but I want to get one more thing handed out to you. So take one of each of these if you would. If there's some more of these too. One of each. Yeah, take. I'm going to take one for myself. Okay. What I have here is the agreement between CWI and ANU for doing the Associate of Science degree in engineering on the left. If you get this color sheet, you'll see what I mean. On the left is the CWI Associate of Science degree. And on the right is the NNU Bachelor of Science degree in engineering. And I've lined up the courses so you see exactly what fits. And this is articulated. That means there's an agreement between CWI and NNU that if you follow this plan, you can get the 2-year degree from CWI, the AS degree, and then you can come and take 2 more years. It's called a 2+2 program. 2 more years at NNU to get the Bachelor's of Science. So it's interesting. You can see 60 credit hours on the left. I know there's a few more that are not on here, but the ones that are not on here are the ones that don't articulate. So there's 60 credit hours that you could take while you're a CWI student that articulates directly to the NNU degree. The NNU degree is 126, so 126 minus 60 is?
66.
66 more credits at NNU to get the 4-year bachelor's degree.
That would be true anywhere.
Yeah. So anywhere, not just, but this is actually mapped, and it may be mapped for BSU. I'm not sure if they've mapped it or not, but anyway, this is our plan. And but also what it shows you is that there's a lot of math and science, which you do already, and there's a lot of engineering core. Do you see that big 42 credit hour engineering core? That's what we get ABAT accredited on. 42 credit hours of engineering core. If we break that core, we're not accredited anymore. And in addition to that core, if you look at the bottom, it says 17 credit hours of engineering concentration. That's one of these 5 fields. It's on the other sheet. One of the 5 fields: electrical, mechanical, agricultural. So those 17 credit hours are spelled out on this other sheet. So if you wanted to do electrical engineering, you would do the math and science, and you would do the engineering core, and you would do the electrical engineering concentration. Is that clear how that works? If it's not, this is a great time to ask me. I want to make sure you understand how these 2 sheets, yes.
So these are your 5 subs?
Yes, and you only pick one of them. You don't have to do all 5. We do have students that do 2 of them.
I was wondering, I was going to ask I know which stage opened their biomedical program not too long ago. I was wondering if you guys were maybe going in that same route at all.
Biomedical, yeah, we've got a few students that are paving the way for us right now. And what they're doing right now is that in addition to electrical engineering, they're adding the biology courses in, and it fits. still fits okay. Biomedical, because of all the instrumentation, is closest to electrical engineering. So do the electrical and they add the bio on top of it.
Interestingly, I just finished doing this class over at Steve's place, and one of the things we talked about, he's an electronics, electrical engineer, one of the things that we spoke of over there at your class today, Steve, was the fact that no matter what kind of circuit you do, no matter what kind of electrical engineering you go into, eventually that circuit has to drive a piece of hardware somewhere. So integrating mechanical devices with electronics is really important to all of you who head in that direction. So keep that in mind, and that's why some people do two of those options over on the right-hand paper, because it really feeds your overall ability to accomplish the task of interfacing those two things, like macro, what is it called?
Mechatronics.
Mechatronics,
Yeah, mechatronics, mechanical and electronics part, they feed together. There isn't one thing that electrical engineers do that the mechanical engineers don't have to eat after they shoot it. You follow what I'm saying? So keep that in mind while I'm doing that.
You'll see the mechatronics course is listed under mechanical engineering, but we have a lot of our electrical engineers that take that too, because it's really just a merger.
Exactly.
I'm curious, just curious, how many of you anticipate pretty much immediately going ahead for a bachelor's degree after CWI? Good. I mean, I thought it was probably nearly 100%, but it is basically 100%. That's awesome. It is important to be, I'm sure you've talked about the progression. It's important to be able to take the FE exam, you have to have a bachelor's, and be able to move into, especially to any type of project management role, you're going to need to have a bachelor's degree to do that. Maybe even eventually a master's degree, but
I've been encouraging them to push to the masters to get their PE license.
I got my PE license at BSU as a professor. I had to have it to teach upper division design courses. That's true. It's all state law in Idaho. You have to have a PE license to teach. Makes sense, doesn't it? You don't want the teacher not to know their stuff. So I didn't have it before coming to BSU. So my first class of students, I had to take the exam with them in the same room, sitting side by side for the 7 hours exam. And you talk about sweating bullets. I could not imagine the humiliation of having all my students pass the exam and me fail. So you know what I did? I studied my tail off, and I passed the exam along with my students because I was not going to be the one to fail.
No pressure.
No pressure. Question?
When you don't have to get your master's to take that test, though, right? Because I think my brother did that, and I think it was like after 3 months of him, like, so he got electrical engineering.
Yeah, after working a while?
Yeah, so he was working for at least 6 months, I think, and then they said that he could take it.
Yeah, here's the new rule. It used to be you have to wait 4 years, where you get your FE exam while you're a student, and then you work for 4 years, and then you take the PE exam.
Right.
Now they've changed the rule in Idaho. You can take within 6 months after you pass, basically within 6 months of graduating from university, you can take the PE exam.
Right.
And then do your 4 years of work. You don't become a PE until the 4 years of work are done. But it is kind of nice to take that exam while your mind is still really fresh, right out of school, right? You still remember all the math. It's really a good idea. So take the FE, 6 months later take the PE, and then go off and work. Yes?
So as far as careers go, you had asked how many of us plan on moving forward to our bachelor's and whatnot. I was just wondering, career-wise, what's out there for an associate's level engineer?
Well, I think you would probably be relegated to more of a technician role. Because the associate's, and I'm not trying to be critical here, but the associate's degree in engineering is not a recognized engineering career degree. It's not a terminal degree. So I think you'd be hired like the assumption is you're gonna finish that bachelor's and move into it.
Mm-hmm.
They might hire you with that plan in mind for you, you know. But
Yeah.
not as a terminal degree.
Mainly, I'm asking because I'm broke in this full-time school, no time working,
Right.
working.
So you probably need to go out and work for a little while.
Yeah.
And then come back again. So let me make a suggestion though. Don't do that for more than about 4 or 5 years. Please don't.
Oh, well, ideally, I would be doing both at the same time.
Yeah, because if
I'm
you,
not stopping.
you know, if you go off for more than 4 or 5 years, man, all of that corrosion that happens in the neurons on the math skills, the corrosion is a serious thing to deal with, and then you really have a hard time, you know.
I was in the Army
restarting.
for 9 years before I went back to college. I'll tell you right now, I didn't remember the sign of third degree angle. It was 0.5. I don't know what it was. I had to learn everything all over.
Well, this is my first year after 12, so I understand.
I really appreciate this chance. Thank you, Professor Custer, for allowing me to come. I appreciate getting to talk to you guys.
Thank you
And,
for being